big news for the UFC. I guess, can you just tell us kind of what this landmark deal means to you and you know, where this will take the UFC over the course of this 7 years?
Yeah, you know, and I say this to you guys all the time too, you know, how do we beat last year? And, you know, it's always trying to go to the next level. And obviously this TV deal is massive and a big deal. There's still a lot more to it that you guys all don't know, but now it's about, you always have to prove yourself. Always. No matter how good last year was, it doesn't mean jack shit when you go into the next year. And we have to get in there and we have to deliver. These guys are investing in the sport, in the athletes, and you know, we got to get in there and kill it. So we got a lot of hard work to do over the next several months. Already coordinating now to get the teams together, everybody start to meet each other, and start to game plan for January.
The decision to largely shy away from pay-per-view, I know you said it may still be on the table, but stay over. I mean, how difficult of a decision was that to make?
It's not that it's on the table. I mean, the whole thing started going out, pay-per-view's dead. Pay-per-view's not dead. We're on pay-per-view on Saturday. And the pay-per-view business is still very much alive and well. But, you know, we were talking about potential pay-per-view with other streaming partners that we were talking to in the deal, but just not in this one. And you know, who knows what could happen? The beautiful thing about this business is every year something happens that I don't see coming. You know, a fight that you never thought would happen, or who knows? I mean, now, you know, we're doing boxing and we're doing MMA. Who knows what could happen? And anything could be a pay-per-view. Something could be a pay-per-view still.
Does this require like massive restructuring of like Fighter Pay? I mean, they used to be pay-per-view partners with you, right? Now what's the carrot or the encouragement to be the superstar? It's
not massive restructuring. You know, we got a bunch of smart kids over there that work in the accounting department to figure out how to, you know, how to make all this stuff work. But it's so good for the fighters. And what I love about being with, you know, one company that made such a big investment in us is they're all in with us. So, you know, the fighters are going to get tons of promotion, you know, built by all these different unbelievable networks that these guys own. And, you know, these are aggressive, smart guys that are going to build a big media company.
Yeah. Do you know what the cards are going to look like? I mean, now that you no longer have to sell a pay-per-view, does that mean you don't necessarily have to stack the numbered events so deep and you spread the roster a little bit?
You know, that's not the way I think. You know, that's not the way I think. We're going to go in with to this Paramount deal, guns a-blazing, and yeah, no, that's not the way I think. I don't go, oh, let's water this down now. We don't have to. Exact opposite.
Going back to a pay-per-view, it's a very rare thing in this day and age for things to get cheaper for fans, right? And now the UFC is going to be cheaper for UFC fans. How much was the rising costs of pay-per-view a factor in your decision to maybe move away from that model?
So whatever happens with our partner, when we go in and we do a new deal, we were with Spike TV, then we went with Fox, ESPN, and now Paramount. All of these guys have different objectives and goals, you know, that they want to do with their property over the next several years. Whatever it is, we are aligned, and we get in, we roll up our sleeves, and we do what needs to be done. If it was going to be pay-per-view, it was going to be pay-per-view. If it was going to be subscription.
With the model that you have now with Paramount, does that mean we can do numbered events in other countries prime time locally? So, for example, the Manchester event, could you now do that at prime time in the UK?
All that stuff still needs to be worked out.
Okay. And then the Fighter Pay stuff, obviously that's going to go up and the fighters are going to get money. Do you guys look at that as a case-by-case contractual basis with each fighter? Or
what's the question?
I'm getting there. Do you look at it case-by-case with each fighter, or do you go, right, we're going to
What was the first part of the question?
Fighter Pay.
Fighter Pay,
yeah. So do you look at it as like case-by-case on each fighter, or do you go, right, we're just going to up the base pay and maybe up the bonuses? How do you sort of figure out the Fighter Pay rising?
Yeah. These are. Listen, I'm not going to have any comments on that yet because we still got to get together and figure this stuff out. You know, it's August. We have till January to figure all that stuff. But you know, the low-hanging fruit that's easy to answer, bonuses are obviously going up. So, you know, that'll be big. And forget about the tide rising with all the other fighters. I mean, just the number that the bonuses bring to a fighter is, you know,
That's what,
millions of dollars.
yeah. And obviously, you don't know who's on the card or anything like that, but this January event, let's say you get a title fight, a big fight. What's the ceiling for a massive title fight on CBS with the sport as it is now? How do you look at that event, and what do you think you can achieve being on CBS?
Yeah, I think that, you know, with the strategy that they have over at Paramount and what they're going to do with this company over the next, you know, I go in 5-year increments, so over the next 5 years, you know, there's a lot more to come, and like I said, these are really smart, aggressive guys, and those are the kind of guys that I love to be in business with. So over the next, we're planning right now, I was talking to them today, to get together in September and start getting all the teams together and start working on the game plan for January.
Dana, going on just on the Paramount and the numbers, for people that don't really know what that means, when we're talking about big tentpole events, how many viewers can we expect to be watching these big events?
What you have to focus on is, I saw this thing on the internet yesterday that it said, you know, this year or last year to be a UFC fan, it cost you, you know, $1,030 to watch everything. Now it's like $115 or something. I mean, that's where the big difference is. The fact that you don't have to, and, you know, when you think about Paramount Plus, all the great programming they have, you pay your $12.99, you get all the UFC content plus movies and TV shows and all that. I don't know the answer to that question, but we're going to find out.
Yeah, it seems like that's what Turkey and everybody was saying. With getting rid of the pay-per-view model, there's going to be a whole new audience that never had a chance to maybe even see the sport. You know, do you feel that now a lot of people, that if that was ever a barrier, people having to pay to watch it, that barrier now is going away? So in all aspects, this sport should grow even faster now.
I agree.
With UFC 319 this weekend, it's a massive fight with DDP and Hamzat. Do you kind of feel like the energy of
Yes.
this is
and I'm probably going to feel it more when I actually get to Chicago. I'm really excited for, you know, the main event should be unbelievable, and probably the fight of the night. And we haven't been to Chicago in a long time. And sold out. I'm sure that buzz and the energy is going to be good, and I'm going to not be keto in Chicago this weekend, so I'm looking very forward to all of it.
If Hamzat beats DDP, are you worried that he will not be an active champion because of his past inactivity?
No. We still have the rights to the rest of the world, so yes, we will negotiate, you know, deals when they're up.
Perfect. Last one for me. Charles Oliveira, he's fighting in Brazil, October, and he's the main event there for that show. He just fought here against Topuria. Some fans were like willing, they were kind of surprised that he was fighting that soon in Brazil, especially because it's a fight night, not a pay-per-view. Maybe his purse was too much for that. How hard was to get the deal with Charles and Fiziev to fight?
Not at all. Not hard at all.
Even Fiziev, did you have any options on other fighters? Or
Tons of
Fiziev?
options.
Or Fiziev was the first one?
Is he asking me if that was the first option and he took the fight? Yeah, you know, we bounce a lot of things around, and that's where it ended up. I mean, if you're asking me who else he was offered, I mean, it doesn't matter. That's the fight that's happening.
Okay.
Yeah? Thank you.